In a world where I've watched several of my childhood heroes die,
And you're getting ready to see another one die next week.
yeah, oh yeah, and where I've seen Luke Skywalker OD on the Force, where I saw James Bond just
Nope.
die in a bukkake of missiles.
Welcome to the Tairimo Boys podcast. I'm your host Cody. With me in second chair is the man who moves faster than the speed of snail. It's Jeremy.
Guess I move faster than something.
With me in third chair is the man whose other car is a Batmobile. It's Ryan.
Going on.
Wait. Which Batmobile? Very important question.
Not the big one.
Not the big one.
The small one.
And there we have it. The small Batmobile.
Because Ryan's not rich like Bruce Wayne.
You got that Bruce Wayne money?
Not yet.
Batmobile BMW. Today we are going to be doing another Blockbuster Boys review. We're going to be reviewing the brand new Flash movie, The Flash. If you can tell by the main character in the movie. Just to give you a warning, there will be some spoilers in this review. Later on we will be talking about ways to fix this movie, because if you can't figure it out by me saying that, this movie's kind of a mess. But once we get into major spoilers, we'll give you a heads up before then. So, let's get into the review. I'm going to start with my first thoughts. When I went and saw the movie, the first thing I thought coming out of it was, you know what, that was pretty enjoyable. Then I went and started thinking it over. And I started seeing like all the problems with the movies, and I ended up kind of dissatisfied. I really think this is a good movie to bring kids to, but like older audiences that are familiar with the franchises, you'll definitely enjoy the movie. But once you start thinking about it, if you bother thinking about it, then you'll start seeing the major flaws in it. Jeremy, what are your first thoughts?
Cody, I like to go to the movies to buy a small bag of popcorn and an IPA to go along with it. By the end of that movie, I wanted a whole case of beer. That's my thoughts.
Ryan likes to buy chicken nuggets whenever he goes to the theater, and then he gets food poisoning.
Fun times.
I feel like I missed a really, really good story here.
You didn't. Well,
Ryan's bathroom adventure.
yeah. That'll be another Tairimo Boys episode.
It's always a risk eating theater food.
Yep. That's why I've never eaten chicken in a theater again. Welcome to The Flash, everybody.
Welcome to our Flash review.
The end.
All right. Besides
Like and subscribe.
This movie gave me food poisoning is what we're trying to say.
All right. So, Ryan, besides food poisoning, what are your first thoughts?
I really wish this movie were better than it was.
I'm going to agree with you there. Well, I mean, you always say that whenever there's a bad movie.
I have reasons for really wanting this one to succeed.
It's because of Batman.
Yep.
I think we all feel the same about that.
When it comes to this movie, like, the Batman part's, like, really, 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 really good. But
Absolutely.
But
All the Batman parts.
But
Almost all of Batman parts.
we'll talk about that in our spoiler section, because I think I know what Ryan's going to be complaining about.
Yeah.
In a movie called The Flash, where only the Batman parts are good, there's probably a problem if your main character isn't interesting.
I did like the Supergirl parts too.
Yeah, I agree. Like I thought they did Supergirl really well.
See, I enjoyed the Supergirl parts too. That was actually one of the better parts of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed her because they didn't make her like a Mary Sue like cape shit movies like to do nowadays. They'll like Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel or whoever replaced Black Panther. Like they'll make
Through that.
yeah they'll make them like invincible and girl power, but they didn't have enough time to develop Supergirl. But with the stuff that we've seen was like really good. Ryan, what's your thoughts on Flash in this movie?
Complicated. There were parts I really liked the Flash, even though I think he's miscast.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
looks nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think Ezra Miller's not a very good Flash.
He really
I
isn't.
don't know. It went up and down for me. Like there were good parts. There were parts that I laughed with him in it, and then there were just parts that I was just like, I don't know about this.
As we've just said, like Ezra Miller's kind of bad casting for this role. And one of the big things in the movie is the movie involves time travel. There are basically two Ezra Millers in this movie, the entire movie. And one of them is really, really, really annoying.
It's a lot to handle.
Jeremy, is there anything you'd like to add?
other than a lot to handle and believing Ezra Miller was, the Flash was miscast. Just felt a little too over the top for me. Go to you.
Well, I mean, I just gave my opinion, but yeah.
Yes. Well, we all got the same opinion.
Yeah, I think he's completely miscast. Probably someone like, maybe someone more, definitely someone more humble. Maybe Ezra Miller would have acted more humble. Is that even what I'm thinking of? Just someone who holds back a bit more.
A little bit more reserved.
Yeah. So, just for our audience, the basic plot of the movie is Flash is doing hero stuff after like all the other DC movies, but not Joker, because Joker doesn't take place in this universe. The DC universe is a fucking mess, if you don't know.
Complicated as fuck.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they go over Flash's backstory in like any of the other like DC movies?
No, not the no.
Okay, because I jumped out after Man of Steel.
Well, I don't blame you. I think it was expected that we had already seen the Flash series, which I watched one episode of, and I don't even remember it.
Oh, there was a series.
Yep.
I think you could tell.
The first season was actually good. And then the rest of the nine seasons happened.
No, really? Like, there's 9 seasons?
Yep.
I wish I had a camera right now so you can see the expression on my face.
We can feel your expression through your words, Cody.
I would have thought if there was like maybe 2-3 seasons, but 9?
That is correct. 9 seasons of Flash.
While we're on this subject, this movie also kind of implies that you heavily remember Man of Steel, which is kind of a flaw in it.
A movie that came out 10 years ago.
The basic gist of the movie is that Flash is doing his normal hero stuff. We get to his backstory where his mother was murdered whenever he was a kid, and his father was framed for it. So Flash gets emotional, and whenever he starts running, while he's emotional, he ends up finding a way to travel back in time. And, of course, time travel, there's your plot in the movie. He ends up going back, stops the canned tomatoes event that led to her death, and while he's coming back, he's attacked by some monster in like the in-between time travel realm and thrown into the new timeline on the exact day that 1, he got his powers, and 2, General Zod was going to be attacking for Man of Steel. So the basic gist of the movie is now you've got this alternate timeline, and Flash has to go and stop General Zod.
And now we insert Flash where he wasn't before.
So since he just got his powers, we're basically told that during the General Zod attack, he tried saving people, but the whole anti-gravity thing of the giant spider mechs prevented him from like really being able to save more than just like one kid. Now, the major problem with this movie is, like I had said earlier, Ezra Miller is annoying. Whenever he gets knocked into the new timeline, there is this timeline's Ezra Miller Flash. Hold on, what's his name? There's this timeline's Barry Allen.
There you go.
Who, of course, he's going to be a different person because his mom never got murdered. And, of course, he hasn't developed his powers not till later on in the day. His character is, like, completely annoying, and they go and get rid of the main Flash's powers really early, so it's only the really annoying younger one that has the powers. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the butterfly effect, or you're familiar with the concept. I think they even explain it in the movie. Do they?
I don't remember.
I think they do, but it's like kind of quick.
Yeah, I think maybe Bruce Wayne might have explained it at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. So normal Bruce Wayne like explains like, yeah, don't go back in. Like, I know you want to save your mom and you can save my parents, but don't do it. You're just gonna fuck everything up. Wise advice. Him simply saving his mom basically leads to him just completely fucking everything up. Aquaman was never born. Cyborg hadn't turned into a cyborg yet. Wonder Woman. Like, they don't explain that other than there's a Vegas old lady dancer that's Wonder Woman. Superman hasn't appeared yet, because in Man of Steel he only appeared whenever General Zod started doing something. But there is one hero that is known. Ryan, who is that hero?
Supergirl.
No! Jeremy, who?
Oh, wait, no. Yes, Batman.
Ding, ding, ding.
I jumped ahead a little bit.
Spoiler, even though we already freaking spoiled it.
And it gets worse from here.
So that's when we're introduced to Michael Keaton Batman. For all you young kids out there, Michael Keaton Batman was the Batman in the, was it late 80s, early 90s?
Yep.
And we're given the explanation that Flash went and prevented his mom from dying. He created like a spaghetti effect with the universe where this Batman, or this Bruce Wayne is completely different.
Spaghetti effect. That's what we're going to call the time travel in this.
That's what freaking Bruce Wayne called it.
Exactly.
The spaghetti and sauce and all. What's the sauce supposed to mean? No, it's just... No, wait. What's the Parmesan supposed to mean? It's just great. It's just flavoring or something. Just a major flaw in the movie. Like, you've got this whole concept of like spaghetti timelines, and they really don't go much into it. And I'll get to that and whenever we try to fix the movie in our later spoiler section.
You've been warned.
Now, I want to talk about Bruce Wayne for a minute. Batman, Bruce Wayne, he's retired. Apparently he fixed all crime in Gotham.
Way to go, Bats. Way to go. Well earned.
No. You live in a world with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. You are not fixing all of crime in Gotham.
Actually, that's not canon anymore to Keaton's Batman.
Well, fine. You've got Jack Nicholson, Joker, and Danny DeVito, Penguin,
and Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman, who's not in this. Never mind.
Spoiler.
Doesn't matter. Nobody over 40 watched this movie anyway.
You're just right at the cutoff. I just thought it was ridiculous. Like, yeah, you don't solve all crime. And Batman, if he solved crime in Gotham, he'd probably start going elsewhere.
Well, didn't the Dent Act in The Dark Knight Rises solve crime, and that's why Bale's Bruce retired?
Nope. So the Dent Act arrested all of the organized crime, but if you remember that very lightly touched upon thing where Batman's knees were like completely blown out from all the jumping, he had to put those braces on, and then after the first 30 minutes of the movie, it's completely forgotten about.
I gotta watch that movie again.
Yeah, but yeah,
same.
The whole thing is like Bruce's body just can't handle it anymore. Also, probably helps that like no supervillain had popped up until Bane started doing stuff. Like we mentioned earlier, like all the Batman portions are like really good in this movie because it feels exactly like the Michael Keaton Batman.
And what a wonderful feel that was.
If you grew up with the Michael Keaton Batman, then like you're just gonna be completely nostalgia stricken. Like anytime, like he's in the costume and fighting people.
Tell me you guys didn't get chills when you first put on the costume.
I did. Just wanted to stand up in the theater. Yes,
finally. Standing ovation. You're the only one clapping.
Sit down.
You don't understand, lady. This is Michael fucking Keaton. Been waiting for this moment. The only reason I saw this movie.
So, of course, Batman ain't gonna be able to defeat General Zod, and we'll get more into that in our spoiler section. So they have to go and recruit Clark Kent, because Flash knows his secret identity. It ends up leading to them heading off to a Syrian base, like a Syrian military base, and breaking in order to free Superman. Only to discover Spaghetti Timeline, where Supergirl is here instead of Kal-El.
Because we can't have Henry Cavill in it.
What do you think about the whole Syrian base break-in, Ryan?
I loved almost all of it.
What didn't you like?
Small details like Batman trying to break a door open using a modem from 1995.
I think that was more of a joke.
It was. Still didn't like it. Yeah, that was about it. Everything else was great though.
Jeremy?
I am a simple man. I really enjoyed that whole act, that whole break-in scene.
I especially loved it. Like, there's some minor flaws that like I'm not gonna like plot hole flaws that I'm not gonna hit too much on, like Batman blocking like all the automatic rifles with his suit from behind. I don't care how thick his cowl is. He's not gonna be able to block all those bullets.
But goddamn it, wasn't it awesome? Just shut your brain off and watch it.
Yeah, like the fighting's realistic. Like
it's what you expect out of a Batman fight when he's 1v10.
He's 1v10ing Flash is kind of screwing around, getting shot, and I just love the elevator escape where it's like how much do you weigh? And he plants the explosive on there and sets it to like a certain intensity, so it blows him up out of the base. Before we get into the spoiler section, Ryan, what was your favorite scene?
Oh, easily the base break-in.
Okay, we just went over that.
I would say between the base break-in and also when they first meet Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne, but like that, it was hilarious but fun at the same time.
Would you say it's Tairimo Boys certified fun?
That is the only stamp of approval you will get from me in this movie. Tairimo Boys certified Michael Keaton fun.
Jeremy, you always were one of my favorite people.
Have my Tairimo Boys approved?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. So great to be here. You have approvals for me too, for the both of you.
Your plaque's in the mail.
Just have a plaque for something in my life.
Yeah, when it comes to me, it's gonna be the base break-in, like the whole nostalgia factor of Michael Keaton and just how grounded in reality it is. It's just too good to pass up. Now, if you've listened to our other reviews, you'll know like we're always talking about all these different scenes whenever it comes to our favorite scenes, but there might be a problem if we're all mentioning just a single scene.
Here's your sign.
So we're about to get into the spoiler section where we talk about the third act. Just to get some quick thoughts. It's a good movie if you just want some kind of mindless fun and don't want to think too much about it. If you want to bring kids to see it, they'll definitely enjoy it. And their kids, they won't think too much into it. But other than that, the movie's got flaws. It looks like it's going to be losing hundreds of millions of dollars because everyone's tired of all the cape shit stuff. Other than that, if you want to take a date to it, go for it. It's not the worst movie you'll ever seen, but it's certainly not the best. Jeremy, any thoughts before we move into the spoiler section?
Shut your brain off. That's what I did.
Way ahead of you.
Anything from you, Ryan?
Nope. Proceed.
Okay. So this is going to be the spoiler section. We're going to completely spoil the third act, and we're going to do what we call Tairimo Boys Fix It, where we discuss ways of fixing this movie. So if you don't want the third act of this mediocre movie spoiled, and you want to see it for yourself, go ahead and tune out now. We won't blame you. So enjoy this nice little song while you tune out. Dun na 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 na. Time to tune out, people. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. All right, for everyone that's still here, welcome to the spoiler section. So for the third act of this movie, you can't tell. The whole idea is, they're gonna go fight General Zod.
And that was it.
Yep, that's it.
That's your whole fucking third act.
Third act. Just to summarize what happens, they go fight General Zod. Supergirl has been locked in that Syrian prison her whole life, so she doesn't know how to fight or anything. Batman is Michael Keaton Batman versus Man of Steel General Zod, who's got all this alien space technology, and the younger Flash has his powers, although the older Flash gains his powers back through a bunch of science bullshit. Turn your brain off, we've already said it.
Oh yeah, mine's been switched off for a while now.
So they go and fight him, and it goes exactly as you'd expect with the lineup I just told you about. It keeps ending with Batman dying, Batman and Supergirl dying, and General Zod winning. Flash sure can't stop a Kryptonian. Ryan, what did you think about Batman's multiple deaths?
Well, in a world where I've watched several of my childhood heroes die.
And you're getting ready to see another one die next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And where I've seen Luke Skywalker OD on the Force, where I saw James Bond just die in a bukkake of missiles. Nothing warms my heart more than seeing the hero I worship most as a child die at least twice. If you can't tell, I was not very happy.
It was fucking painful. It was.
Yeah, so Michael Keaton's Batman isn't designed to be fighting like these space alien like General Zod's. Like, so he dies like 2 times. The first one is he's flying the Batwing, and he ends up like, oh, I'm gonna use my Bat missiles on the main Zod ship. Well, guess what? A giant alien ship with a giant alien battleship has not only shields to stop missiles, but it also has plasma cannons on it. So ends up getting shot. He ends up getting shot and realizing like, oh, I'm about to die, and so he kamikazes the ship, and nothing happens.
That's crazy because he knew Kryptonians. He knew how advanced they were. That scene did him no justice. I mean, none of his deaths did, but that one really bothered me.
The man who has prep time for everything doesn't have a backup ejection plan.
Right? I mean, come on. He literally has a plan to take down everyone in the Justice League in case things went wrong. That includes a Kryptonian.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he hadn't encountered a Kryptonian till the Syrian fight.
This timeline's all fucked up. Fuck this universe.
That's for a second death. That's when he's fighting like the big guy from Man of Steel, and I mean, I like the fights where he's like constantly just like crawling all over him, just slapping like Bat C4 all over him, and it's exploding like doing nothing.
Bat C4. That got me. But yeah, that was a. I did like the fight.
I did like the fight until he fucking gets like mortally wounded.
How did he get mortally wounded? I never caught that. I was just like, oh wow, you're dead again.
Didn't he get slammed on the ground?
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. All I know is he was bleeding under his left shoulder.
If you look closely, the blood stain on his shoulder says, fuck you, Ryan.
So we haven't explained how Batman dies twice. What happens is, after Batman dies the first time, Supergirl also dies because General Zod pulls out his little Assassin's Creed blade and stabs her, and then hooks some device up to her to kill her and get his world-ending DNA sequence that he needs. Because apparently, when they killed Clark Kal-El on his way to Earth, they didn't get what they needed. So Flash, like, hey, I've changed time before. I'm gonna do it again. So they go back. Batman dies a second time, and that's when they start getting the idea of, hey, maybe time can't be changed.
Can't fuck around with spaghetti.
It just, it just gets more tangled. That spaghetti just gets more and more tangled.
So shut your brains off.
The younger, more naive Flash, like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep trying till I fix it. So he keeps trying. Now, one of the things I liked was, like, every time he tries, he's like taking more and more shrapnel inside of him, and you're seeing like this damage. Like at one point, he gets like some spaceship chunks like stuck in him, where it looks like it's a freaking arm blade. It looks really cool. He kills like the one Kryptonian where I think she was the one that got thrown through the Denny's in Man of Steel. So it's giving the idea like, hey, maybe he. So the big thing about Man of Steel was the General Zod death, where Clark kind of Superman figured out that, hey, this guy's a psychopath. Maybe he needs to fucking die.
Followed by the coolest neck snap of all time.
Yeah. So it was kind of giving the illusion that maybe Flash is starting to learn that with him killing these Kryptonians, but it's not explored anymore. Eventually, he keeps trying, and then that purple monster I mentioned comes out earlier. Yeah. So it's revealed that the purple monster is actually like the past Flash from the future, who's just kept trying millions of times. He's been trying for decades in order to like win the day, and each time he's just taking more and more shrapnel, where he's just barely recognizable. That's when like our normal Flash is kind of realizing like, yeah, this whole spaghetti thing is bad, and maybe I shouldn't have tampered with time in the first place.
Oh, but now the spaghetti's really fucked up.
Yeah. So other timelines start crashing into the little nexus point, where we get to see the old-timey Flash with the metal helmet with the lightning bolts on it. We get to see Christopher Reeve's Superman. And Ryan, who else do we get to see?
Nicolas Cage Superman.
Fighting a giant fucking spider.
Fighting a giant spider. You're welcome, John Peters.
Cameo after cameo.
How much you want to bet John Peters thinks this is the greatest movie of all time?
Well, it had that monster spider and the World Engine spiders in it, so that's double the spiderness. Flash literally entered the Spider-Verse. I like the whole concept of that, like the purple future Flash, but it like goes nowhere. Like he tries attacking the normal Flash because the normal Flash is kind of figured out like, hey, time travel stuff is bullshit. We need to make sure Mom dies. He beats the purple Flash by the younger one sacrificing himself to get it like killed by the purple Flash, which means the purple Flash can't exist. So normal Flash goes and has a touching moment with his mom and undoes like the whole canned tomatoes thing so that she would die. But he still manages to fuck up the timeline by moving the cans of tomatoes so his dad gets proven innocent. And we're left with George Clooney, Bruce Wayne.
Fat nipples!
So, Mr. Freeze is now canon.
So, Jeremy, here is why this part, more than Batman dying twice, was the biggest kick in the balls for me. Back when Keaton was announced as Batman, I obviously was waiting with bated breath for any photo of him. So the first photo that comes out is a set photo of Michael Keaton in that scene where George Clooney gets out of the car.
Uh-huh.
Originally, Keaton was supposed to get out of the car and talk with Ezra Miller and also Supergirl. But then people were like, people were finally like, this Snyderverse thing, I don't think it's going to work out. And so they reset the timeline and reshot that scene with George Clooney. So Keaton was actually going to survive.
Oh my God. This is what you were talking about. You were spoiled a little bit to it, right?
Yep.
And it comes full circle. And instead, you got bat nipples shoved in your fucking face.
Yeah. So George Clooney effectively has replaced Michael Keaton twice in 30 years.
Mind blown.
It doesn't matter who. Are they resetting all this shit anyway because they fucked up this universe so bad?
Yep.
Well, there you go.
A clusterfuck.
And then, of course, we get to the after credits scene where Flash is telling, like, normal Aquaman that we all know and love what happened, and he's kind of drunk.
Here's the thing I didn't get. Didn't the Flash say to Aquaman that Aquaman was the only consistent across every multiverse in that scene?
I don't remember, but that would be so awesome.
I swear to God, that's what I thought he said, is that he was the only constant. But when they fucked up the timeline event in the beginning, Aquaman wasn't there. They said there was no Aquaman, no metahumans, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Maybe we just talk about Jason Momoa. Jason, you're just the best across every universe.
And everyone I can find you.
All right, so it is time for another Tairimo Boys fix. Ryan, how would you fix this movie?
I wouldn't make this movie.
There we have it. Like and subscribe.
Ring the bell. A Hollywood executive has a gun to your head. How do you fix this movie?
Yeah, I quickly say goodbye to my family, and I don't make this movie. Here's how I would fix it. I would replace the Dark Flash with the Reverse Flash.
There we go.
When I was watching this movie, I kind of thought, like, is this supposed to be the Reverse Flash?
That's what I thought we were going to get, too. Instead, we get this stupid knockoff Reverse Flash. It's kind of like isn't he like a rip between the Reverse Flash and Black Flash?
Yeah.
Like, this villain is totally made up for the plot in the movie.
I would also insert a scene at some point during this entire 10-year saga, which we've never seen, where Barry goes, "Hey, I wonder who killed my mother."
Don't even get me started on that. Instead of doing the whole canned tomatoes moving thing, like, I thought he was going to go, like, to his house and see, like, who killed his mom.
I think we all did.
And that just didn't happen. He just proved his dad was innocent and the murderer got away. Unless his dad murdered him, but then again he got off, so.
The reverse dad.
Reverse dad.
Anything else, Ryan?
Oh, not surprisingly, I wouldn't have my childhood hero die. He would probably live. It's a good bet.
I agree.
Alright, fair enough. Jeremy, how would you fix this movie?
I thought about this for a while. And you know what I came up with? A whole lot of nothing. Because I shut my mind off. How I would fix the movie is drink a little bit more beer and shut my mind off.
How would you fix this movie, Cody?
Hold on, grab my notepad. Just popping my fingers. Adjusting in my chair. Alright. Let's fix this movie. So, I've gone and rewritten the whole plot. Feel free to chime in at any time. Alright, so first off, opening scenes, everything's fine. I'm fine with all that. All the useless stuff, mom dies, all that. The first change we're gonna make is, like, after Flash saves his mom and he gets knocked out of the timeline, the purple monster's still gonna attack him. When he gets knocked out of the timeline, here's what's gonna happen. There is not gonna be a second Barry Allen. There is just now the single Barry Allen who's replaced the normal Barry Allen in this timeline. He has all his Flash powers, so you don't need to do any kind of electrocution chemical scene.
So, same universe.
No, because he's now in the universe where his mom's still alive. But we're dealing with the normal universe Flash in this timeline. So there's no second Flash. Well, there's no second Barry Allen.
Okay, there we go. That's where I was held up at.
Yeah. So there's only one Barry Allen. So now we've got the crisis of, like, hey, even though my mom's now alive, like, I don't have any memories of what's happened in this timeline. And this is like 10 years ago. Like, is this a good timeline do I want to commit to this timeline? And that's when we figure out General Zod's about to attack. So you get all kinds of hijinks of, hey, Barry, do you remember when this happened? And then him stumbling through it because he doesn't have any memories of this. So he's out there meeting with his college friends, and that's when the General Zod message comes out. And we find out, like, all the heroes, like, don't exist. We're keeping that. But there is a change. Superman has been known for years, but he went missing years ago. Batman is still fighting crime in Gotham. We'll just say that, because there's no way that you're going to wipe out all crime.
Good luck, Bats.
Yeah. Batman just went and took out Clayface recently. That was in the news. Batman's, of course, going to be easy to find. So Flash goes to Batman, and we get the normal spaghetti timeline conversation. And Batman is willing to help him, because Batman is willing to save the world. He's not retired like the one in the actual movie. He is aware of Superman, but has never met him. Superman has been, like I mentioned earlier, Superman in this timeline has been gone for years. His last known location was a Star Labs facility.
Okay.
So Batman and Flash break into this facility in order to thinking that Superman's being held in there. After, like, all the fighting and stuff, they figure out, like, hey, Superman isn't in here. In fact, these people are in contact with Superman. Superman has been on a mission fighting giant space spiders for the past few years.
Does that reveal who our Superman is?
Dun dun dun! My version of the script has Nicolas Cage is playing Superman.
And now we know.
Like I said earlier, Batgirl, I liked her in this movie, but I think with a Michael Keaton Superman, I think with a Michael Keaton Batman, we need a Nicolas Cage Superman.
Fighting spiders.
So they're able to patch into Superman and warn him about, like, how dangerous Zod is, and Superman races as fast as he can in order to get back to Earth. He doesn't travel through time like Flash does, because there's a new rule that you have to be, like, extremely emotional in order to go that fast. Eventually, Nicolas Cage Superman shows up, and they go and prepare to fight Zod. During the fight with Zod's men, Batman is just kind of hanging in the back, helping to save all the soldiers and kind of distracting the Zod's men, because Batman is not equipped to be fighting Kryptonians.
Stay in your lane, Bats.
So Nicolas Cage Superman's fighting Zod, and Ryan, you're gonna hate this, but Superman ends up dying. Batman ends up dying.
Yep, you were right.
So Flash decides, I'm gonna change the timeline. So tries again, another death. Tries again, another death. Eventually that's when he starts getting the idea, like, hey, maybe I can't save this timeline. Because the major problem with this movie is, like, Zod's not dealt with. Like, that whole idea goes out. The whole plot with Zod goes out the window whenever Flash returns to like normal timeline, and that's what's not satisfying about this movie. Eventually, so Flash decides, hey, like maybe I can't beat Zod. I just need to return to the normal timeline. That's when he's attacked by the purple monster again. We find out in my version of the movie that the purple monster is basically another timeline Flash who will stop existing if Flash undoes like the whole tomatoes thing and his mom dies. So Flash and him have to duke it out, and the normal Flash ends up winning. And we find out that like his meddling with the dimensional thing was what was preventing like our Flash from like saving everyone. So we go back to this timeline. This time, Flash, Nicolas Cage Superman, and Michael Keaton Batman all beat Zod. We get a scene where Batman's injured and trapped under rubble, and Zod's doing the eye laser thing, and Nicolas Cage has to snap his neck, which gives the idea like, yeah, some people like Zod just need to be put down. Flash says his goodbyes to everyone after the world's been saved, and he goes back, fixes the timeline. Oh yeah, this time he instead of moving the cans of tomatoes, he finds out who killed his mom, confronts him in like the normal timeline, brings him in. The guy confesses, and his dad gets off.
1,000 times better than what we got.
Would you rather watch that?
I didn't have a problem with Batman dying. I just had a problem with him staying dead.
Right.
The big problem is like I said, it's Zod is not defeated. Like this whole movie's building up to like fighting Zod, and like the whole plot just goes out the window. With this script, both the Purple Monster Flash and Zod are defeated, giving us like a satisfying conclusion. We're going by Dragon Ball Z rules, so this timeline still exists in another universe. So Nicolas Cage and Michael Keaton live happily ever after, while Flash gets to live with his father. And that guy saw justice, and Ben Affleck, or the Twilight guy, or whoever, is still Batman in Flash's universe. And that was Tairimo Boys Fix.
Well said. I'd much rather watch that.
I'm available for hire, Hollywood. $100 million.
It's a small asking price for a good movie these days.
I'll fix Star Wars and Indy too while we're at it.
Oh, please.
All right. Jeremy, any final thoughts you didn't already mention?
Nope. Shut my brain off long ago.
Go have yourself a beer.
I
Ryan?
burned it.
Nope. I think I've said my piece.
Yep. All right. So, Ryan, on a scale of The Dark Knight to Batman Forever, where would you rank this movie?
Well, apparently Batman is not forever.
And that's the ranking.
No.
Batman not forever.
I'm going to put that as your ranking too, Jeremy.
Yep.
Like I've said, it's an okay movie to see. It's not great. It's not groundbreaking. It's got problems. If you got some money to blow, go see it. Catch it for free on a streaming service or on TV when it comes out. Other than that, enjoy.
Good luck.
You're going to need it. All right. Well, thank you for listening to another Tairimo Boys podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Especially if you're telling me how great my idea is. Especially if you're a Hollywood executive. Shoot me your number. And stay tuned for more reviews.